Hello everyone, my name is Ronak and you're watching VectoArt. In today's video, we will take a look on how to modernize a WinForm applications in 2025. Does your legacy application look like it hasn't been updated since 2005? We all have them. That's old WinForms app and that just works, but it is an absolute ISO. You are probably thinking I don't have time for a full rewrite. The good news is you don't need one. We are going to replace the UI by piece, reusing 90% of the C# business logic. The secret here is the architecture. Before we start, for those who haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. It means a lot. It motivates me to create more such videos. And for those who want to watch this video in their native language, please click on the gear icon of the YouTube player and select your preferred language to watch this or enjoy this video. First, let's look at our culprit. This is our legacy WinForms application. Inside the code, we have our basic controls, the button and the label set up in our designer. The real problem is in the form1.cs file itself, which is the code behind for our designer. And here, if you see, we have the button load underscore click event handler. And here's the first crime. We are doing the heavy database connections directly within our button click event. And this is right now a simulation, but in real world scenarios, we do that by adding the SQL connections and providing the queries and all of the SQL related data access code in within the event handlers. And then you notice that we are also using system.data.sql client, which is the data access, which is right here. And right below it, we have our business logic, which is the rules that we provide here. And these are basically direct UI manipulations. And the whole function is a mess of UI data and business logic, which is tightly coupled, untestable, and that is why modernization feels impossible. The solution is the model view model MVVM pattern. It means we pull the logic out into a separate class library. This separates our view, the form, from our model, which is the data. Our first step is to create a clean shared logic library that is a reusable core. It contains two clean files. One would be our customer model for the data structure and customer service for our logic. So let's start by doing it. I have my project over here. So I will go to the solution explorer first and right click on the solution and add a new project and search for a class library with C sharp and click on next. If you do not find it, you can search it in the recent templates over here. I'll click next and provide this project a name. I'll call this shared logic library. Click on next. I will select .NET Standard 2.0. You can also use the latest version, but my project that I have in WinForms is of older version, so I'm not going with 8.0. I'll click on create. So the default class is loaded. I will go ahead and delete it. And then I will create two folders within this. Let me create two new folders. One is called model. And I will create one more folder and we'll call this services. Now let's create two files within these folders. One is the customer model. Let's add a class and call it customer model. And also go to the solution under services and add another file. And let's call it customer service. So we have our two folders, and within our two folders, we have the respective class files. Now I will paste in the code that I have already created. So let me do that. So for our model, I will paste in the code over here. And this is a basic model, which is a class called customer model. It is of type public, so that we can later reference these properties. And we have two properties within it. One is the ID and the other is the full name. So next, let me copy the code for the customer service, and I'll go ahead and copy the code that I already have and go to the customer class and paste it over here. I've changed the access specifier to public again. And here, this service basically handles all the data access and business logic. And here it is just a simulation where I am adding a delay so that since I do not have any data to fetch, I'm just delaying the response and basically returning a customer model with the ID and the full name. So I will save this. And now we return to our messy WinForms application over here, and we can delete all of this ugly code that we have over here, and also the simulation which we were using to return the data. Now this whole process is done using this model and the service. So we have our logic, some of the logic ready, and all that ugly data and complex logic which we highlighted earlier is gone from our UI layer forever. Now we replace these messy lines with a clean modern refactor, and we will need to first reference the library. So what we have to do is first build our project over here, this shared library. Let's rebuild this, and once it is done, I can go to my legacy WinForms app and go to add a reference, and select our shared logic library and click on OK. Once I do that, I will go here and add the namespace and call it using shared logic library models and using shared logic library services. So now that we have added the namespaces, we will make changes to the code to replace these messy lines that we had, and we will simply instantiate a service and call the await service.get customer async. So let's do that. So I will go ahead and first let me add the labels that we had previously. So first I will set the label text to loading data via clean service, and the foreground I'll change it to orange. Next I will instantiate um, our shared service, and after this I will add a call to the service asynchronously, and this is basically retrieving the model that we have over here. And next let's do our UI manipulations, and this will only be the UI manipulation and no business logic will be set over here. So I will go ahead and paste it over here, and finally we will add our old code which was in the else part, where we say the label text is no customers found and the fore color would be changed to red. So let me save this, and now there is one more closing bracket, and let me curly brace and let me save this. And now you can see we have separated the model and the business logic from the designer, and we only have the designer and the UI logic in our front end. So let me run this application and it should behave like before, but only the difference is that it is not tightly coupled now. So now if I click on this, it will try to wait and then it will return the data from the model. Now, next is to modernize our application like I promised. Now for the fun part, which is the modern UI. We create a new Avalonia project, and just like before, it references the same shared library. So we are sharing the same core brain that we created. So let's go ahead in our solution. I will go ahead and add a new project. And this time I will select Avalonia.net MVVM app and click next. I will give this project a name. So let me call this modern UI or modern Avalonia app, and paste it over here and click in next. This I will leave it to .NET 8.0 long-term support and click on create. Let me rebuild the application, and you must be seeing the designer over here for Avalonia, which is an extension. Please check out my previous videos on Avalonia where I've talked about how to get a designer for Avalonia project. I will minimize this, and now we have a designer. So we'll do a few changes to our code. So first thing is to set our designer. So I will copy the code that I have for my designer over here, and I need to close the window tag, and that should clear all the errors. Only thing is that we have to make changes to our view model, which is over here. So let me open the view model and paste in the code that I have for my view model, and I will explain you what are the changes that we did. So I've made changes to our view model. Next is to add the shared library reference. So here you can see it is not able to find the namespace. So we will go to a solution and go to the modern Avalonia app, right click, add, and then you can select project reference and select the shared logic library and click on OK. Now here we have to add the namespace, and doing so you will see the errors will be gone. So now our view model is ready. So to walk you through the view model, I will talk about it a bit. This is our view model. It handles all our UI specific logic, but crucially it calls the exact same customer service as the WinForms app does. It uses the iNotify property changed to automatically tell the UI when a property like the status message is changed. Next, let's switch to the main window.xaml. This is where the magic happens. The XAML is our clean canvas. We bind the list box directly to the customer's object, and the UI just says, show me the data, and the view model handles the rest. So let me go ahead and build this application again. And now that all the errors are gone, you should be able to see the designer now. And here you can see we have a list box, and then we have a text block, and after that we have our button over here and the progress bar, which indicates the status of our um, data loading. So let me save this, and now I will go ahead, and right now the default app is legacy WinForms app, which is set as a startup. So I will go ahead and change this application to our startup application. You guys have already seen how the old UI looked, and now we will see how the new UI look. The same exact business logic, two completely different UIs. And here you can see, if I run this application now, this is the power of our proper architecture. We didn't just skin the app, we set it up for the future, proofing it by using the MVVM pattern. So now when I click on this, you can see we have a nice looking UI, which is way better and not tightly coupled like the previous app was. This is why modernizing our architecture is so important. By pulling our logic into a shared layer, you can swap out the UI view layer anytime you want, be it with WinUI 3, Avalonia, or even MyUI. So if you found this refactoring useful, please hit the subscribe button. Next week on VectoArt, we will be searching a different topic and you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.